Drive and your email accounts? Yes, okay. And how many of you have already set up a Symbaloo account in the past? Okay, most of you are all brand new to this. Okay, awesome. And is there anyone that has never logged into Google before? Into your Google account? Okay. Okay. All right, so while everybody's still getting situated, let me tell you a little about myself. My name is Wendy Bradford. I am the Library and Media Specialist at O'Bannon Elementary. I've been in the school district now for 17 years. 8 of those were in the library, but before that I was a classroom teacher at O'Bannon in 5th grade, and then a middle school teacher at Gavitt for 5 years prior to that. So I have classroom experience. I know what it's like to sit in the classroom with the students, so hopefully some of my background will be able to help out with what we're about to do today. My contact information is at the bottom of the slide, but you don't need to write anything down. For the entire presentation, honestly, you probably won't have to write anything down. I'm the kind of person when I go to tech conferences, I try to write out every single step of everything so that I can remember it when I go home. Because when I get home, I'm like, oh, that was such a great idea, but I lose it and have no idea what to do. And so if I'm trying to take notes through the entire thing, I then miss the presentation and then I'm lost and don't know what's going on that way either. So I have already typed out all step-by-step directions for you that you'll have access to in a few minutes, and we'll go in there and get those. And I also have the presentation that I'm about to show you is all ready for you as well. So you don't have to write anything out. You can just be an active participant and go through the steps as we go, not worrying about how to do it once you leave here. Okay, so first of all, is there anyone not familiar with Google Classroom? I'm betting probably a lot of you. Right? All right, so I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to go right into how to get to Google Classroom. I'm sharing lots of information with you, so this is, you're going to want to do this on your devices as we go. If you're logged into your Google Drive already, then you're going to want to go up to your waffle. The waffle are those 9 little black boxes up in the corner. It'll pull up the menu of what you see on the screen. Then you want to go to More at the bottom and find the Google Classroom that looks like this in the center. So go ahead and take a moment, get into your classroom, and then I'll show you what to do next once we're all there. Yeah. While we're waiting for everybody to get there, how many primary people do we have? Okay, intermediate? Middle high? Demonstration? Okay, mostly elementary. And then, okay, and then other. What would you consider yourself? Okay. Alright, anyone else need more time to get into the classroom? Okay, once you're in the classroom, you want to go over to the plus that's over on the right-hand side. And then click Join Class. Then you want to type in this code that you see up here in the center of your screen. BU7WP9. And the resources that you get on there will be in there indefinitely. I have no intention of taking anything down anytime soon. But just a recommendation for you, whenever you go to these kinds of things, you never know when the presenters are going to take stuff down. So get in there, make copies of it, and then it'll be in your drive forever, and then you don't have to worry about it if they ever delete it. You still have it. But don't worry, you don't have to do that right away. I'm not going to delete anything anytime soon. All right, is everybody into it? We're still needing the code? We're okay? Okay. Within your classroom, you should see a couple of things. First of all, there's an evaluation at the very top. We're not going to do that link until the very end. That's just to say at the end how you thought the session went. But you should see all of these things in your classroom. The very first thing is this current presentation that we're viewing. So as we go through and all the directions and all the screenshots that you'll see, you'll be able to access that. The second one are Symbaloo directions. That's the step-by-step directions just written out in a Google Doc so that you don't have to go through 40 different slides. And as we build our Symbaloo pages today, I have another sheet that has a whole bunch of links already created for you so that you won't have to go through and type in all the web addresses that you're about to put in. Of course, you can put in your own things, but there's a lot of things in there that you can just copy and paste so you don't have to start from scratch. The bottom one is a link to an actual Symbaloo page that will show you some examples if you want to get ideas from other schools that are already using it. And that'll all make sense to you as we get to it, but just know that that's all right there for you in the classroom, so you don't have to write any of it down as we go. Okay, so what is Symbaloo? I think it's one of the greatest things ever. It has completely saved me so much time, and I use it for everything. So it is a free website. You don't have to pay for anything. You can have as many different Symbaloo pages as you want, and you can use it for personal work things, you can use it for personal things, you can use it for your students, you can use it for an entire staff. Basically, there's so many different possibilities for what you can use this for. It is very easy to manage once you know what you're doing, so like with anything, just a little bit of practice, and it'll get easier as you go. And it's awesome that you can just access it anywhere. It doesn't have to be on one station, any source or any device that you use. You just log into your Symbaloo account and it'll be right there for you. Okay, this is an example of what a Symbaloo page looks like. Throughout the presentation, you'll hear a web mix. They call the entire page that you have a web mix. This is what we use at O'Bannon for our students. When they come into any student device in our building and they click on the internet icon, whether it's Internet Explorer or on Google Chrome, this is what comes up. It's not just the regular school city page that usually comes up on our computers. And I'm going to show you how to share that with the tech department so that you can change that at your building too if you want to have a page for yourself in your building. So it's really nice. The kids can get very used to opening the internet and going right to the sites they need. You don't have little first graders trying to type in a website and they spell it wrong and then they have to go back and they waste half of their center rotation trying to type a website. They open up the internet, click on the one that they're supposed to use, and you're good to go. You have to have one person that manages it if you decide to have it for a building-wide. You have one person that manages it, but if you have other things you want to add to it, you just send that link to the person. They can upload it in a matter of seconds, and it's good to go. And then it'll automatically transfer to all the student stations, and you don't have to do any other updates with it. So the one person makes the update, and it's automatically there, ready for the kids to use in a matter of minutes, like I said. This is my personal work one that I use. You can see all these ones that have little, looks like people. Those are all different Google Docs that I've copied onto my webpage, because we are so inundated with Google Docs now, right? All the things that people share with you, I don't know how many times I have to sit and think, okay, who sent it? When did they send it? What did they call it? And I'm searching through trying to find it. So the things that are used regularly, I just copy it and paste it onto my Symbaloo page, and then it's right there, and I don't have to go searching. It's really nice. You can have all the websites that you use. My calendar's on there too. I've got a lot of iStep stuff on there. All the extensions for all the different people that we call all the time. I don't have to have it just on my board, or if somebody asks me for a phone number, I can just look it up right away. So there's so many different possibilities. You see, I filled up my entire page already. We also have one that I'm building for our staff, so that again, all those things that we share and that we use regularly and that we update, like our collaboration forms or our recess schedules or our PD schedules, DARs, uniform notices, all that stuff. Everybody in my building will have access to this page for the next year. So they, again, don't have to go searching for everything. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start taking a look at the actual Symbaloo site. So open a new tab, leave your classroom open, because we're going to come back and use that in a little while. And type in the web address in a new tab. I have a question. Oh, okay. There we go. So Okay, everybody is into their Symbaloo? Okay, so at the very top, there's a blue button there that says Create Free Account. That's where you want to start. So at the very top, go to Create Free Account. Yeah, create free account at the top, no problem. And then, of course, we want to fill in all the information that they're asking for. And you may notice down underneath the repeat password, they've got a checkbox already for you about missing important updates. I always try to uncheck those just so I don't get all those extra random emails. We already get enough. So uncheck that if you choose to. Make sure you agree to the terms and conditions and then click Create My Account. And you should be good to go. You're good already. You're ready to go. Just hit allow. You're out. So you're good. Probably good. That's just if you wanted to save your message. You don't have to type it every time you go to it. So you can save. Because this is yours. I always save it. Did you already have a create your account? Yes. Oh, so then you'll just have to try to remember which your password is or create a new account with a different email address. Totally.
You've been in Google, right? Just type in Google your word. Oh, okay. Then it will come up. It lets you pick, but if you do this full city payment one, then it has all your stuff already in there.
And then you can just hit allow at the bottom. All right. That's either of you guys all good? Yeah? Okay, so if you've never created an email or a Symbaloo account yet, they're going to want you to verify that email account, so make sure you're logged into your school city and go through and verify it if you get that email account or email right away. Because there are times in the later part of the session that if you're not verified, you might not be able to have access to all the things that we're going to cover. Okay? All right, so let me just show you a little bit around Symbaloo before we get busy building it. In the upper right-hand corner, we've got our account settings, the typical things that you would see, where you can change things about your profile or your preferences or the account settings. And that's where you would also sign out if you ever choose to do that. Then these three buttons up here at the top, these are the major things that you'll use the most, and mostly it'll be these two. So our options button and the plus button are important ones to pay attention to. When you click on options, this is what you're going to see, and we'll go through a couple of things in just a minute. The plus is how you would add a new web mix. So the web mix, remember, is the entire sheet that you would see. And if you ever choose to remove one, like I'm sharing one with you today, once you're finished with it, if you want to remove it, you would just use that little remove button right there. Okay, so we're going to start by adding a new web mix. So everybody go ahead and click on that plus that you see at the top center of your screen. And then in the place where it says name, you want to put what you want your web mix to be named. It doesn't have to be your name. So for mine, I have one for students, I have one for staff, I have one for work, I have one for home, that kind of thing. So pick a name that you want your web mix to be called. To start, yeah, you went to the little plus right here. And then now we're going to put in the name. The web mix name can be anything you want, and you can change it at any time too. So if you decide later you don't like what you called it, we can go back and change it. And that's just that little plus right there, and we're going to create a blank one. Because it has the home page already set up for you, and you see there's lots of tiles already on there. All those little boxes are called tiles. You can use that one, you can edit it and delete it, whatever you want, but I thought it would be better just to start with a blank page so that you can build it from scratch of what actual websites you want to be used. So after you put the name in there, we're going to go ahead and just go and click that add button. And it should take you to a blank web mix. You might have a different picture than I do. And often those pictures are going to change on you until you set your wallpaper. So we're going to go ahead and do that because the changing pictures distracts me. I don't know about you guys. So to change your wallpaper, you're going to go back to the Options tab that you saw at the very top of our screen. And then you get this menu on the left. So you want to go to Change Wallpaper. It's the second one. And for those of you that decide you wanted to change the name of your web mix, that's where you would do that too. So whatever you called it now, if you changed your mind, it's right above the wallpaper. Once you click on the Change Wallpaper, you see all the different pictures that are available for you already. Or you can click a solid color. I don't know if you noticed when I showed the examples. My personal one, I have a picture. But then for the other ones, I just use solid colors so it doesn't distract the people that I'm sharing it with. Or if you're a real go-getter, you can just upload an image yourself and have something that's a little more personable for you. Again, your wallpaper can change anytime. So if you pick something down, you don't like it, and you want to change it later, you just go back to Options and change it anytime you want. Okay, so now we've got a set wallpaper. Now we're going to go ahead and create a tile. To create a tile, remember the tiles are all those little empty boxes. All you do is just go to one and click on the plus, and then go to the word Create Tile. The tiles are going to be able to move anywhere at any time. So if you put it in the very first box now, but later on you want to rearrange it so you can group things together or change it around, all you do is just click it and drag it to another location. So it doesn't matter where you put things now. You can put 10 things in there now and then reorganize it later to be a little bit more manageable or make sense for you. Say again? When you're on this, just go to any tile and click on it. Just click on any tile, and then create a tile. Okay?
Create color the options then?
Nope. When you're on the blank page that looks like that, just click on any of these open little boxes that you see. Just click any of them, and then go to the words Create Tile. So then it should take you to a screen that looks like that. Here you're going to type in the web address that we're going to use. And for the first one, let's all use the same one. Let's just use the School City of Hammond website because there's a picture thing that I want to show you. And let me say ahead of time, don't go ahead of me and save it yet because it's going to create a problem possibly. So I want to show you something before you save it. So in the web address bar, we want to actually type in our address. And you know our website, we have to always do the www first a lot of times with this one. Without it, it sometimes doesn't open. So make sure you do www.hammond.k12.in.us. Once you have that, underneath it, it says add a name for the tile. It may have already popped up with something for you if you already started to type it in. It should come up with a picture that kind of looks like our logo, but it got cut off a little bit. Don't worry about that part yet. For now, though, in the name, you might want to change it because it says Home School City of Hammond. You may want to just shorten it to say SCH. It's up to you. You can make it whatever name you want. And then over to the right side of where you put the name, there's a button that says Show Text. If you click on Show Text, it'll actually put that title right up at the bottom of your tile so that you don't have to hover over it. If you don't put the Show Text on there, then if you just hover over the tile, then it'll show you whatever it is that you named. So it's up to you whether you want to actually put in the name on the tile itself. For some websites, you may just choose a background because it won't actually have a picture available. This one does, but you may want to just change background colors and pick images yourself. And once you're ready, what's wrong? I lost you? Okay. Yeah. So that's where we're putting it right next. Okay, the Hammond.k12.in. Okay, you're not going to hit save yet. That would be the next step, but for this one, when you get a tile that's kind of messed up like it is up here at the top, They often will have options for you down at the bottom. We're going to click on this picture there, and it should take you to something that looks like that, right? You can then click on the different, I didn't even touch the board, it's very sensitive. It can just sense that I'm close. You can click on the squares and stretch it out so that you'll be able to actually see the full SCH logo. And this is why I didn't want you to save it before. If you save it before you changed it, you can't get back to that screen. I'm not sure why, so just be aware of that as you are selecting images. Don't go too fast because you can't go back. If by chance though you do ever save something and then it didn't work out, you could always delete the tile and then just start over with that one tile, which I've done many times. So are you okay stretching it? Once you've got that stretched out the way you want it, you would click Use Selection to Tile. And then we'd be able to go down here to the bottom and hit save. I'm sorry. No problem. Yep, just, yeah, oh, it's yeah, I'm in John K. 1 too, so you don't need a whole city in there. If you click in the boxes in the corner, you like click and drag, so turn it where it turns into like a Anybody else needing anything, or are we okay? Sure.
One person in the building is sharing access to all of them.
If you want to have one that's building one. You don't have to, if you want to. For you personally, or for your class? Yes. Yeah. All right, hold on.
Okay.
All right, before I move into too many other things, I had a couple questions about sharing this with everybody. Let me go back to the whole sharing it with the entire building thing. If you want this Symbaloo page to go to all of your students in the whole school, you'll have to share it with Brian Lucas in the tech department, and I'll show you what those directions are and how to share it with him later. And then he'll be able to, within minutes, just send it to all of your student machines. So then with just clicking the internet icon, it will appear. That includes Chromebooks. So if you send them that link that I'll show you in a moment how to do that, if you have Chromebooks in your building, it will send that page to it. If you have your own set of Chromebooks in your classroom, that one might be a little bit different because they tend in the tech department to want things to be universal or consistent among everybody. So you'd have to talk with Brian and see what he is willing to do. I can't speak for him whether or not he'll be able to do it for just one classroom. But there's ways around that too. If you are on regular desktop computers, you can always save links into your documents folder so that you don't have to go around asking the tech department to do anything for that. You also could, if you have a Google Classroom for your class, or if you have just a page that they access, you could always put the link to your Symbaloo page on your classroom or whatever else you've shared with them, or if you have a website, and then they could always get to that page through that. So there's a couple different options, but Brian Lucas is the one to talk to about installing it on your student machine. There we go.
What's your email real quick? I'm trying to share my views and you can access it.
Okay? Okay. You're welcome. Okay, and some of you are already noticing it's kind of hard to use these touchpads at times. I would invest in a wireless mouse. I use mine all the time. You can get them for cheap almost anywhere, and it makes life a lot easier.
Did you push choose file then?
I think you already did. So if you're happy with it. Okay, so once you've got your first tile created, if you ever want to change it, you would right-click on the tile and go to Edit. To right-click on a Chromebook, you want to use 2 fingers together and just tap. So you don't actually have to push on the Chromebook, you can just tap with 2 fingers together, and that's right-click. On the touchpad, just 2 fingers, touch it, like tap it, and then it should bring up like what a right-click would be. Okay? And if you wanted to change it, so like what I had to change it because I had the whole school city of Hammond and it didn't look right, so I just edited that. Also, if you ever want to delete a file or delete a tile, it's also in there. No, it's just when you right-click on the tile itself. Oh, that's okay. If you ever want to rearrange those tiles, you're just going to click and drag the tile to the other place. So if you even close out of this edit one and just see how you click it, drag it, it easily moves to another place. So we're all okay with that? Awesome. Okay, now here's the sharing bit for those of you that are going to do that. For most of you, I'm thinking this is going to be a personal thing that you'll use to help yourself. But if you choose to make it go building wide, or if you're sharing it with your staff, this is what you'll do. You go to the share button up at the top. Then in the web mix description, you can just give it a little idea of what it is so that the people you're sharing it with would know. But you don't even have to do that. I've left mine blank because the people that you're sharing it with know what it's for. It's on. It's automatically going to default to a public setting. So if you just shared it right away, anybody that goes into Symbaloo would have access to it. But if you'd rather make it private, which is what I do because I'm more private, you can just click on the private button, and then we'll hit share web mix. So I'm going to go over to the next screen. So you're going to hit public or private, share my web mix, and then you'll get a web link right there. That is the link that you'll need to share with Brian Lucas in order to send it to your student machines. And everybody's is going to be different, so it's based on whichever web link you or whatever Symbaloo mix you're sharing. Makes sense so far? If you're sharing it to student computers, you have to go through Brian Lucas in the tech department because he's the only one. Well, anybody in the tech department, I'm not sure. But the student machines are locked, so we have no control over what the web page is for that. Got it?
I don't have that issue.
If you want to share it,
I'm at Hammond High.
go to
We're
private,
one-to-one, so we
share
have
my web
different
mix, and then
access.
this link right there is
So
the
that's
one
why
you
I'm
have to share.
like, can you create a share with Brian?
The librarian doesn't have
I
access to
forget
change
that.
student machines. Your librarian might be the one that runs this, though, like I run it for my building. And I shared that link with him in order to be able to get to the student machines. Yeah, it's just the tech department who has access to change student pages. Did you already That was one of those things, and if you don't confirm it, yeah. Oh, so
There's one thing we're changing is
you didn't get the email yet?
when the last
And you
time
went into the
they
email that you used to set it up, right?
this year.
Okay. And again, that's not going to be for everybody. That's just for those people that are going to try to manage this site for somebody else. Back at the very top,
Can't help
there's
it.
the share button.
You can see what's
And did you already activate or confirm your account? Like at the top, it might say something about, if you've confirmed your email, then that'll be an option that's an issue. Okay, so now, okay. If again, you're one of those people that are going to manage a web mix for your school or for your staff, anytime you make changes, you have to go back and hit the update button. That update button won't be there unless it's a shared web mix. But if you make changes to it and don't hit update, then they won't see those changes. So it'll just be whatever they saw before. So just keep that in mind. I went in and had a lesson one day with my kids in the library, and I said, okay, go ahead and click on this. And they're like, but it's not there. And so I forgot to update it. So just keep that in mind if you have a shared one. Or if you've asked somebody to add it to your school site, if you're not the one managing it, someone else is, and the kids don't see it, then just call them and say, hey, can you update it because the kids can't see it yet. Okay. So I've actually shared a web mix with you, and you'll be able to do this in a few moments too. When you've shared that link with people, they're going to be able to see this little button there. All they do is click on that. It will automatically add it into your account as long as you're signed in. And if you're not signed in, it'll just ask you to sign in before it'll put it on your page. Kind of making sense still? Haven't lost anybody yet?
So like if the librarian had a web mix she wants to share with you, it'll say Miss So-and-so's web mix. It's going to be totally separate
Yes.
on our tiles. It won't mess with our tiles.
Correct. I'm going to get out of this for just a second so I can show you. This is what my Symbaloo page looks like right now. This is my staff one, and at the top you see all these different tabs. Each one is a different Symbaloo page. So here's my student one. There's my personal work one. This is one I use with my classes. This is one that I'm using just for you guys. I'm sharing this one with you in a few minutes. And if you see it can keep going, there's even arrows that'll let you move. You can add as many web mixes as you need to.
Okay.
And then this is the one I'm using today. So I just keep adding web mixes for whatever I need, and then you can delete them as you need it to.
Is there an easy way to go, like, look at yours and say, okay, I love all those internet sites too, and just easily put them on our tiles? Or
Yep, I'm ahead of you. I've already got all that saved and ready for you. I'll share that in just a few. All right, so let me, no, not that one, this one. Okay, so if you choose to make Symbaloo your homepage on your Chromebooks too, you're able to do that, and these are the directions here. If you guys want to take the time to do that, we've got about 25 minutes still, and there's still time. No, if you want to, know that it's in the directions that you'll see in your classroom, and if you want it to become your homepage, then those are the steps to do to get there. All right, so now we're going to be able to start building your own personal ones with whatever you want. If you want to delete School City of Hammond, you're welcome to, but you don't have to, obviously. So I have a document in the classroom. Remember, I think it was the third one down. It's called Links for Your Symbaloo page. If you open that, it will have, I believe it's 3 pages of links that I've already copied for you so that you don't have to start from scratch.
Where is this?
In your classroom. So up at the top when you, with all of your tabs, there hopefully is still a classroom tab open. If not, we can go back and open it. Let me get everybody going, and then I'll come and find people that still need some help with that. I'm going to get out of this. I'll show you the classroom, what it's going to look like. In the classroom, it's this third one down. Links for your Symbaloo page. When you open it, it looks like this. At the very top, those are just suggestions of things you might want to include, but there's no links with those because those are going to be personal to just you. If you scroll down, there's where all of your links are going to start. So I've got the new WIA link on there and Study Guide, MobyMax. You can just read through and see what all is available. When you want to use one, let's say you want the MobyMax one, you're going to highlight it, copy it, then go back into your Symbaloo, and then you can just add a new tile, and then you would just paste it right in there so you don't have to go through and type all of those web addresses. And if you need help with the copy paste thing too, I can come and help. Just wanted to show you that all that is available for you. Now as you go through this, it's very easy to just, when you're finished, go and clicking on to another tile. If you forget to hit save down there, then everything you just typed or copied or pasted is gone. So you got to make sure you hit save before you move back to your regular web mix. Just keep that in mind as you go through it. Okay. I've also shared in Classroom a Symbaloo page with you. So that one is this e-learning day Symbaloo. If you open that link, it's going to take you to this Symbaloo page, and that'll allow you to accept it and make it part of your web mix. And you'll notice on there, it has all the links that I shared with you in the classroom, but it also has these 4 Symbaloo pages. Those are 4 elementary schools in our district who are already using it. I stalked all of our different School City pages and found schools that are using them. I just put those on there for you if you're interested to see what other schools are using, what sites they're making available to their kids, and also to make it so you don't have to type everything. You can just copy and paste it. So O'Bannon's the one I already showed you, but those other 3 schools are already using it, and you can see their sites as well.
I have a question.
Sure.
So once the sharing is turned on though, anyone can access it through the link without being signed into Symbaloo?
Correct.
So if we have Google Classrooms, could we take our Symbaloo link, put it in the About under Google Classroom as a
Absolutely.
resource and just do it that way?
Absolutely.
that's what I just.
Oh, yes, okay, so with the rest of the time that we got about 20 minutes, that if you want to start building up your Symbaloo page yourself, I'm here obviously for any questions that you might have, moving things around, copying, pasting, help with the Chromebooks. Some people in the last session too had a question about, what if I get to a website and it has a really, really tiny picture and I don't like it, or I want to put in a more personal picture? I'm going to show you something that's not even in the whole Symbaloo mix. If you're interested, great. If you're not, that's fine too. Are you familiar with Google extensions? Or Chrome extensions, I mean? No? Okay. So when you're in Chrome, you're able to add extensions that will allow you to do extra things. And I'm going to show you how to use something called Snagit. That's how I was able to get all these little pictures that I took and included. It looks just like what you saw on your screen. And it wasn't just necessarily a screenshot. I actually captured part of the picture and part of the screen. So here's how Snagit works, and then I'll show you how to get it if you want it. So I've already added it on my screen. When you click on it, you can get a region, and then you just go to the part of the window that you actually want to capture. I'm clicking and dragging, and it'll capture it into a picture. So I'm going to just hit my picture button. It'll show me exactly what I... One moment, let me log in. Right now it's syncing. It might take a second when you first start, but it's often very quick to do that. And then you'll want to name your image. As soon as you start using Snagit, it automatically adds a folder into your Google Drive. It's called TechSmith. And every picture you ever capture automatically goes in there. And then you'll be able to upload those pictures from, when you're in your Symbaloo page, just upload a picture from your Google Drive. And I'll show you that if it ever gets finished uploading. For time's sake, I'm going to close out of it. You saw how I captured it. I'm going to close out of this and go into one that I've already done. So let's say I wanted to add a tile that doesn't have a picture. I'm going to go to Upload Image. And I'm going to upload one from my... I think I have to have a web address in there first. Oh, thank you. Yeah, pregnancy brain is a real thing.
Was okay?
Yeah, it was not choose file. Thank you. Okay, so that's not what I wanted either though. Because I really do want it from my Google Drive. It usually lets me pick it from upload. Okay. Yeah, it lets me pick it from upload. Let me get people started, I'll figure this out, and then we'll come back to it. Of course that's going to happen because the video for the camera's going. Didn't have that problem in the morning session. Anyway, so with the last 20 minutes, then we'll go ahead and just start building your sites. If you have any questions, let me know. Use that link thing that I've already sent or shared with you in the classroom, so it'll save you some time, but we're here for a little bit of a work session now, okay? Any questions before you get started?
I just want to get on the touch.
Sure. Okay, so...
YouTube videos too, you can set them up so they'll play in here so the kid doesn't go to YouTube instead. So just so they can set it. So
One video for
yeah, it's just the one video, that way like it won't go, like, cause if I set up as a website, it would take YouTube. Yeah, but this way it's, and I'm wondering though, if YouTube is blocked, if it was to this.
And then, yeah, if you decide that you want any of it, then you just click and drag to highlight it and copy it, and then go back to your Symbaloo page to fix it. Okay? instead of just anything. Yeah. Okay. And then if you ever want to delete that too, you could just. I got it. Yeah. Okay. You're welcome. You're all good, yeah?
Yeah.
Show me.
I've used it before, and forgotten about it, for my classrooms. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, good luck with it then. Hopefully it helps.
And they help it before I bounce, so we're good.
Good, I left mine at home, but
And then you'll do the web address. Now, if you wanted a web address like I've already created, if you want to copy paste it,
So do you
go
want me
ahead
like
and
in the
open up
about
a new
section,
tab
is
up
that
here.
for resources?
the what?
The about section
And
of the
then we're gonna go
classroom?
into your classroom. So you
I'm
can
not
go
even,
to
Super cool.
I'm not even Google Classroom.
and then down to more.
Google Classroom.
It's also nice.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't, whoever wants to go to one.
And you're already in it. Okay, I'll click on this one. The actual like word, there you go. And if you scroll down a little bit. And you can also scroll by using 2 fingers in scrolling. Scrolling on Chromebook too, if you use your 2 fingers like you do with right clicking, you can scroll with 2 fingers. So you don't have to go over to the side, the scroll bar.
Mac
And then you
users,
just open that one. It'll give you the different pages that I've already saved for you. So, I'll scroll down a little bit if you want to see this.
Go ahead, there's the bookmarks right plus.
Okay.
Yep.
If you have a school one, you could ask somebody to use your Symbaloo as one of their tiles so that they can access it that way. But if you don't have one for your whole school, then you'll probably have to put it in.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, just go to any one of her classes, just go to the class, click on.
Or I mean, on my
doesn't matter. You're not gonna
Right.
actually show you.
And if you put it in the about section, then it won't get lost in your feed.
I got it.
like which,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, okay.
Just
Okay.
go to the class, nope, that's the drive.
Oh, and you don't even have to log into it.
So click on the name.
So you're wanting Study Island to go on to.
Alright, so
Okay,
go
so
to the
back to
about
this one.
tab.
Oh, I understand, and if you have a wireless mouse or even a plug-in mouse, because it has USB ports, that's gonna make it a lot easier, because these touchpads are kind of difficult to get used to. You can like click and drag by using 2 different things. So if you, so
Nope. There you go. And
I'm
then
gonna click with 1 finger in the corner, and then drag my mouse that way to highlight it.
Okay.
And then you can still right-click it and copy it that way.
that
So
way.
right-click by using 2 fingers again, okay? Right. So now go ahead and regular click it to copy. Then you'll go back up to your Symbaloo page. So click anywhere on that tab other than the X. And then now we want to paste it into there, so that's where you use 2 fingers again to right click in this little box. Yes.
About, add link.
Now right, 2 fingers and then up to paste. And it's in there. Yep. So then you'll want to put in your name for what you want to call it, probably Study Island. Oh, it has a login thing already for you too, so you might want to just backspace it and then you can type it. That's where you would add in that link. So if you go back to your Symbaloo page and go to the share button. And then probably want to rewrite it. And then and then copy that one. You're welcome. Sometimes they don't have images preset, so that's where that's
But this is the right website.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. And if you add it, and you see that if you click on it, those are all nested files, so if they get it automatically open it up.
What if I don't say if I didn't do media? I would want for like search for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna address that to everybody. If you don't know a website, but you like do a Google search for something, you're like, oh, that's a website I want, then just go up into the web browser and copy that link and paste it in. You don't have to actually know how to type out the entire web address for anything. You can find the website you want, copy paste.
I mean, once they click the internet, they'll have
Okay, your daddy is
still,
separate
yeah.
fund mix. So we're gonna get rid of this then, yeah. And is this the main one that you're already using? No. And then you can rename it. So you just have to create a little bit. So read it, I will say, and that's where you put the job or what you want. And I think Ascend is one of the ones I got a copy of. If you go back to that classroom and open up the link, you can just copy it and paste it from that. Oh, we have things over here right now. I think I'll do this one in. Email account. You know, do the copy. They're not saying. Yeah, a wireless mouse or the one with USB, it's gonna make life a lot easier. You're welcome. This might be the links that everyone actually like copy and paste it from. How do you go to which one? Page it looks like this one. Right, good. Now you go. Okay. If you want to add just one tile, one website?
Right.
Well, what kind of a website do you want to add? Okay, so let's go look at this. We're gonna go back to this one. And then. Okay. I gotta highlight it first. Yeah. So to copy your two fingers together, or you can even do Control C, that's even easier. Right, when you go back into your stuff, you just so now we're going back to
Drag it up
there.
and drag it to the middle. Yep.
There you go. And it's back to create a file. Yep.
Can't remember all the stuff.
There you go, yeah, you can. Whatever you want it to name. So if you want it just to say Ascend, or maybe next one, whatever.
Yeah, I got the top one, and the paste is the same way. But once I did, I put enough information here where I added all the math.
And it automatically
I did here.
Yeah, and it already recognizes that's what it was. Do you, because it already says what it was, you probably don't want to actually take that.
She said you would help me,
Yeah.
but I just said, I can't figure out how we.
And then if you decide you want to change it later, you just click it and drag it to a different location. Okay?
I got it here. Like it.
Wait, grab your cursor over what you got. Yeah. I didn't know, just 2 clicks. I did. They did it?
I do Control C and then Control V.
See, I can't do that, I have to do the double click. Alright, now fill tile.
Just in W.
Oh, wait, no, click, yeah, do that, create new tile. And then click in there, and then do that double click thing. There it is. But I can't do the control.
When you're logged in, and then same thing, just like in your use. Okay. You're gonna
go to that.
Yeah, that's already looking better. Yep. Yeah, if they have any images down there, that would be where you would adjust it.
Thank you.
But if you stretch it to the corners, it'll make it easier. There's only about 5 minutes left, so before you leave, if you can go back to your classroom and fill out that evaluation, it was that first link that was up at the top. Don't feel like I'm kicking you out now, but just before you go, if you can fill that out, I know Alicia really wants to feedback.
They said it would be when you log back into like your Sketch apps or on that thing.
Yeah, it looks like you just have to everything you do there. Just gotta open up those tabs. Nope. I think you did. Oh, thank you. There's an evaluation if we go back to your classroom. Very first one. This is down. I don't know if you remember, but I met you last summer. Do you remember? We were at the Career Center. It was Alicia's Google Center. I remember you. And but you're awesome because you're trying it. And it's working. You're welcome. Thank you. Symbaloo is general for everybody. I just didn't have, I had to. Oh, yeah, that's oh, this one's Symbaloo, yeah, the other one's Google. Yeah. Or you can do it from your classroom, if you still have a classroom, you might find that in Google Drive. Classroom, 120 or video. Oh, yeah. Got about 3 minutes till you hear that wonderful name. I'm going to go back after all of our sessions are over and get some directions for you for that Snagit, and I'll put it into the classroom so that if you're interested in that, you'll be able to still get those directions or be able to get Snagit as an extension.